guys, happy Wednesday. We are going to jump into our next week of this Holocaust unit for Unit 4. So there will be no Zoom this week. I appreciated you guys all being so flexible last week with our kind of last minute change of plans and you adjusting so quickly. So I really appreciate that. This week we have no formal lecture I need to give you. Instead of you having to figure out how to schedule in this Zoom, I wanted to go ahead and just do some instructions for you because this week is more of a project more than anything. So this should not take very long, but I do want to explain exactly what my expectations are for your project this week. So in Schoology, you will see, I'm going to show it in the hybrid course, but just because it's not published yet for your course. So we will be doing, we'll be reading the Diary of Anne Frank in the next few weeks. But we really, Ms. Cleaver and I, when we were talking about this, we wanted to make sure that you guys had a lot of really good background information. And so we wanted to dive into some nonfiction texts this week. And so I've created a Holocaust text set choice board for you to do. Now, listen very, very carefully to these instructions so you don't get lost, you don't get points taken off, okay? Your task here is you're going to choose 3 different activities from the choice board. Each article, so in each choice, is an article you need to read and an activity that you need to accomplish, okay? So 1 article you'll read and 1 activity that you'll accomplish. You need to do that 3 times. Each article is linked in the choice, and every article has a specific activity that you'll do with it. So as I'm going through these different articles and giving you an idea of them and explaining each activity, I want you to choose 3 that you're interested in or that sound good to you or that sound like a fun assignment that you'd want to do, okay? Now, you will see here I have 9 total. They do not have to go in a row or diagonal. They can be 3 random boxes, okay? Listen very carefully to each of the articles and the instructions behind it. So this first one is called an interview. The article here is called We Need to Study the Holocaust Now More Than Ever. And this just goes over how a lot of people are unfamiliar with the Holocaust and the consequences of it and the background to it, okay? So first you'll read that article first. Then you're going to do this activity, and the activity is interview someone at least 1 year older than you, so you know 8th graders, about their knowledge of the Holocaust. You're going to craft 3 to 5 open-ended questions about the Holocaust and record their answers. Use this sheet as your guide. Not every choice will have a sheet you have to fill out with it. You may do something completely different, but the ones that do have one, you'll click on that to finish that. So once you read through the article, you're going to choose a person to interview. This can be mom or dad. This can be someone in your family. This can be a sibling. This can be a friend. This can be a different adult in your life. This can be another teacher, whatever you want to do. You're going to write down the date, the name of the person you interviewed, the age, and the occupation. If they are, in college or something, you can just write student, or maybe if they're a stay-at-home parent, you can write that too. So in this space, you're going to write 3 to 5 open-ended questions about the Holocaust. Remember, open-ended questions cannot be answered with yes or no. So here are some examples to get you started, and you can choose to steal one of these questions, okay? Why is it important to study the Holocaust? Do you think it was okay to lie during the Holocaust? Why or why not? Do you think the Holocaust could happen again? Why or why not? You'll notice those last 2 originally start out as yes or no. Do you think it was okay to lie during the Holocaust? You can answer that yes or no. When you add in why or why not, you can make it open-ended. So feel free to steal one of those, and then you only have to come up with 2 more. You're going to write the question right here as well as their answer. After that, you are going to reflect on your interview. You're going to answer in complete sentences what surprised you the most, and if you could do this assignment again and interview someone else, who would it be and why? Okay? So that's the first one that you can do. The second one is called Research and Respond. You are going to read Elie Wiesel's acceptance speech. He is a Holocaust survivor. He was a Jewish man who survived a time in the concentration camp, and he wrote the book called Night. You are going to read through his acceptance speech for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1986. Then you're going to pretend you're a reporter at the speech, and you're going to gather background information about the Nobel Prize, who can get it, how, and you're going to complete this analysis to justify why Elie Wiesel was given this award. So you have to research. You're going to go onto Google. You're going to go onto a database, different things like that to find the answers to these questions. So you need to answer who can receive the Nobel Peace Prize and how in complete sentences. Who won the first Nobel Peace Prize? Why did Elie Wiesel receive this prize? Justify your answer and give specific examples. So you can look up why he received it, and then you're going to go through and you're going to justify it. If he received it for doing something really good, you're going to justify what he did. You're going to give the example of what he did. You're going to choose one quote from the speech and copy it here. Why did you choose that quote? So you're going to choose any sentence from this speech. You're going to copy and paste it, highlight it, copy and paste it, and put it there and tell me why. And then the last thing, we're going to kind of throw back to Unit 3, and you are going to tell me if he uses ethos, logos, or pathos in his speech, and give an example. He does use all three, and so I want you to find one time where he is appealing to emotion or pathos, or appealing to credibility, so he can talk about it because he's Jewish or something like that, and paste it there. Or a time where he appeals to logic, and identify it and tell me how, okay? All right, the next one is create a one-pager. You are going to read this awesome story. This is a true story about this woman named Irina Sendler. She rescued 2,500 Jewish children and babies by smuggling them out of the Warsaw Ghetto. She is a really, really cool lady. This is an awesome story and really interesting. So you'll read through her story, and then you're going to create a one-pager, and you can do that on Google Slides, you can do it on Canva, you can do it on whatever platform you would like to create a digital one-pager. On that one-pager, you need to include the following things. You need 3 quotes. 3 quotes are not dialogue from the story or from the article. You're going to copy and pasting any of these phrases or sentences will be a quote, okay? So you're going to choose 3 quotes from there. And they don't have to be a complete sentence if you don't want it to. A summarization, so you're going to give a quick summary. It should not be a paragraph, but like even a few sentences. And some visuals. It's going to take up the entire page. So you can put words to describe her. You can do different pictures. You can do the people that she saved, like whatever you want to do. Okay, you're going to create a one-pager. Next one, you are going to create a storyboard for one of the events on this timeline. So this article is very different. This is just a timeline, like it's not a traditional article that you just read through. It's a timeline of leading up to World War II, during World War II, and then the very last one, Germany surrendering to the Soviets. You are going to choose one of these events, and you are going to create a storyboard. It must include at least 2 vocab words, so 2 words that are unfamiliar to you or new to you. Used correctly, and then you need to summarize the event. Your finished product should contain at least 6 panels. So say you want to do a storyboard on Hitler is appointed as Chancellor of Germany. You're going to do the date, and you're going to make 6 panels describing that event. So after you choose your event, you need to look up the event. You have to look up a way to create a storyboard about it, okay? You're going to become kind of an expert on that one event that you choose, okay? Now, you can use the Google Slides. You can use a comic strip maker, any template you want to use for that one. Okay, the next one is called Draw the Setting. So you are going to read the story called Departing Dachau. Dachau was a concentration camp, and this is of some people that survived it when it was free. When they were freed. You're going to choose one scene kind of from that story. It's a very vivid, lots of imagery in this true story. And you can create your scene digitally or on paper. For you guys, it'll probably be easiest to just do it digitally because that way you can get to me. So the scene is going to include names of the people mentioned in the detailed setting, colors to describe the mood. So if you think the mood here is or gloomy and hopeless, then maybe you'll do like grays and blacks and things like that. But maybe you think that a certain part of the setting is really cheerful and hopeful, and you want to do colors to describe that. And then 2 quotes. So you need to choose 2 quotes from this article. You're going to copy and paste it. Okay, again, you can do that on Google Slides. You can do it on Google Docs, whatever you'd like. Okay, the next one is called Teach Others. This is a quick article about the rise of Adolf Hitler in World War II. This just gives background as to how Hitler came to power, and then how World War II began. You're going to read through that article, and then you're going to create some kind of digital study tool. So you can do a Kahoot, you can do a Quizlet, you can do a Gimkit, whatever you want to do. You are going to create it. So you need to pretend that you are like going to give a quiz just over this article. All right. So if you were going to give a quiz over this article, if you said, hey, you need to read this, I'm going to quiz you on it, you are going to choose 10 facts from this article and then have those questions and answer in your study tool. So you might say, how long did World War I last? Or what dates did World War I last? And then the answer would be 1914 to 1918. You might write, what did Hitler use to recruit followers? And then the answer would be they're just the Germans' despair and anger. Things like that, okay? You get to come up with those questions. Okay, and then the last three. So this one is called Interview Questions. This is Tales from Auschwitz Survivors. This is a very, very long article. I believe it is like 18 pages. You are not required to read the whole thing. It's that long because it has a bunch of different survivor stories in here. Just choose, kind of scan over it and choose 2 of these survivors to read about, okay? Oh, it's 22 pages. It's long. Choose 2 of the survivors to read about, and then you are going to do this activity. If you could sit down with 2 of the individuals in this article, who would it be and why? And then you're going to craft 6 to 8 interview questions that you would ask him or her, and you need to explain why you would choose these. Article is very long. You don't need to read the whole thing. So you are going to scan through this. It's not wanting to go right now, but these are all going to be pictures. So if you say, I would choose to interview Joseph Mandrowitz, here he is right there, and I would choose to interview Eva Umlauf, okay? Those are the 2 people you choose. I would say I chose them because their stories are really interesting to me because they survived it as children. And then I would craft 3 to 5 interview questions, or 6 to 8 interview questions. I might ask things like, when did you realize that things were getting bad? What did you hold on to for hope to survive? Things like that. And you're obviously not actually asking these questions. You just need to create those questions. You're not recording any answers. You're not actually asking them, okay? And then you need to tell me why you would write those questions, okay? The next one is called perspective writing. You're going to read this article called The Bookkeeper of Auschwitz Deemed Fit for Prison. This guy, Oscar Groening, he was a German, and he was the bookkeeper of Auschwitz. That means he wrote down everyone's names that came in. He was a German. He worked for the Nazis. He actually very recently, when this was written, it was just it was just 5 years ago in 2015, they deemed him fit for jail, that he would be able to go to jail, and he was sentenced to prison time and jail time for committing those war crimes as when he worked with the Nazis. Really interesting article. He talks a lot about his regret and different things like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to read through that article, and then you are going to write an open letter from prison from the perspective of this guy. So you are going to pretend that you are him in prison, all right? And you're going to write an open letter. That means it doesn't have to be to anyone in particular. You can do it to a friend or a family or whatever. And I need at least 1 paragraph. It could be a Google Doc, whatever you want. And you are going to pretend like you are writing from his perspective in prison. So what is he feeling? What's going through his mind? Why? What questions does he have? What things does he want to say? Okay. Now, the last one, you guys did really well sticking with me. This one, you're going to read an article called Holocaust Bystanders. So these are people that just stood by and watched what happened, okay, that didn't stand up. This comes a lot from the terrible things that we read last week in the First They Came poem. You're going to read through that article, and then you are going to go onto Google and databases and things like that, and you're going to research resistance efforts during World War II. Resistance efforts just means groups of people that were fighting back against the Nazis. So it wasn't specifically countries. These were groups of people. So they were sometimes church groups or religious groups. Sometimes there was this really cool story about a group of Jewish people that actually fought back. They lived in the woods and fought back against the Nazis. It was really cool. It might be people that are fighting back by smuggling Jewish people out or hiding Jewish people in homes, different things like that. So look for a few different resistance efforts. Then you're going to pretend that you are a part of that resistance effort. So if you choose to be a part of the Quaker resistance effort, so the Quakers were a religious group of people, and they, I believe, they helped get Jewish people and different people out of countries where they were being targeted, like in Poland and Germany. And you are going to pretend you're a part of that resistance effort and make a brochure or a commercial trying to get people to join your club or your group. Okay, you can do that commercial just on your laptop with your camera. You can do it on WeVideo, whatever you want to do. If you like to make videos, this would be a great one for you. And you can do your brochure on Canva or Google Docs, whatever you'd like. This is going to be like a really kind of fun, creative one. Okay. Those were a lot of instructions. I know that was a lot. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. So you just choose 3 of those to do. Okay. You only have to do 3. So choose 3 that are interesting to you. Now, this is important. This is a turn-in page, so you don't lose points. What you're going to do is you're going to tell me the 3 choices that you chose. So if you're doing this and you said, you know what, I want to create a 1-pager about Irina Sendler. I want to do the Teach Others about the rise of Adolf Hitler, and I'm going to make a storyboard. So I would write down 1-pager, Teach Others, storyboard. Okay. And then I'm going to put the links to my 3 activities. So my 1-pager link, if I made it on a Google Doc, I would press share and I would copy the link and put it down here. And you have to make sure that you have given me access. Okay. Then I would do the Teach Others. So if I made a Kahoot, I would share the Kahoot and put the link right down here. And then my storyboard, I'm going to either find the link or download it. Or if you are having issues putting your assignment in here, just teams me and let me know, and I can help you. I can even, take over your screen. We can have a video chat and I can get it in there. All right. And you'll put that link down there. Okay. So then you're just turning this in, but you have the links to your 3 finished projects right there. This is a really big grade. It's going to be an academic grade. And because you have a week to work on this, I'm going to be taking off some late points if this does not get in on time. A lot of you are not having really any issues with that, so that shouldn't be a problem. And of course, if you run into technology and things like that, I am more than willing to work with you, but this is not something where you can just choose to not do it and then just turn it in whenever and get full points. We are kind of trucking right along. You guys are headed to high school soon, and I want to make sure that you are in a good place. So this is due next Wednesday, April 28th. And you have the entire week to work on it. You have nothing else you have to do for me. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to stop talking because this was a really long video. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.